Can Stockholm Syndrome occur in other relationships? Have you ever wondered if the emotional bond seen in Stockholm Syndrome can happen outside of hostage situations? This psychological response is fascinating and complex. Originally, Stockholm Syndrome described how victims of kidnappings can develop feelings for their captors. However, this phenomenon is not limited to those extreme cases. It can indeed occur in various other types of relationships. In the realm of true crime and victimology, Stockholm Syndrome is recognized in domestic abuse situations. Victims may form emotional attachments to their abusers as a way to cope with the trauma they face. This often leads to a confusing mix of fear and affection, making it hard for victims to leave or seek help. Romantic or domestic relationships are prime examples. In these cases, an abuser may use manipulation or intimidation to maintain control. Victims might rationalize the abuser's harmful behavior, feeling emotionally dependent despite the danger. This creates a toxic cycle that can be incredibly difficult to break. Interestingly, Stockholm Syndrome can also appear in workplace relationships. Employees in hostile environments may develop a form of this syndrome, sometimes referred to as corporate Stockholm Syndrome. Here, individuals may defend an oppressive employer or manager, identifying with them despite the negative treatment they receive. Another area where this syndrome can manifest is in sports coaching. Athletes under abusive or overly controlling coaches may bond with these figures, even when the treatment is harmful. The desire for approval can lead to a troubling attachment. Sex trafficking and exploitation representing another serious context. Victims often develop emotional ties to their traffickers, complicating their ability to escape or seek assistance. The psychological bond can make it challenging for victims to recognize their situation as abusive. Several key factors contribute to the development of Stockholm Syndrome in these relationships. A significant power imbalance often exists, with the abuser controlling the victim's safety or well-being. Fear and intimidation play a major role, as victims worry about the consequences of resisting or leaving. Emotional attachment is another factor. Victims may cling to moments of kindness from their abuser, interpreting these as signs of love or protection. This can lead to cognitive dissonance, where victims struggle to reconcile their understanding of love with the abuse they endure. Signs that someone may be experiencing Stockholm Syndrome include rationalizing or excusing abusive behavior, feeling emotionally dependent on the abuser, and fearing the idea of leaving or seeking help. Social isolation enforced by the abuser can further complicate the victim's situation. From a criminological perspective, recognizing Stockholm Syndrome in victims is essential. It helps law enforcement and mental health professionals understand why victims may resist rescue efforts or defend their abusers. This understanding can significantly impact investigations and support strategies. In summary, Stockholm Syndrome is not confined to hostage situations. It can occur in various abusive relationships, where power, fear, and emotional manipulation create strong psychological bonds between victim and abuser. Understanding this dynamic is vital for effectively addressing victim behavior and providing appropriate support.